Alright, when you're ready, start it, ain't it? You start it now. Okay, yeah. So Raj.
How you doing, man?
Content over everything.
How you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Yeah. So basically, I saw last week a video of you talking about. It was a number of things, but you said basically that.
There was a lot of bashing Salafis. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. So
I
basically.
apologise, man.
Yeah. So basically, he mentioned think having a negative interaction with Salafis or so
Oh,
forth.
I assumed there was Salafis.
Okay, but let me just get explain basically about the different terms, like in Islam and so forth. Yeah, generally we call Muslims. Yeah, this is generally what we got. I'm only bringing this up because you said that you've mentioned this term, and basically that you said you've had a bad experience or so forth. Yeah. Okay.
Let me just put that because I went to the Hizb Tahrir 20 years ago. And they called themselves Salafis. So I assumed there were Salafis at the time, and so that name is crept in. And the media coverage is very negative.
Yeah, so what happened basically is that generally we call Muslims, but because you brought up this term, Salafi and so forth, and you've had a bad interaction or you've heard bad about this from the media and so forth, I just wanted to clarify it. So generally we're just known as Muslims, yeah? When the Prophet, peace be upon him, was around and teaching Islam, they were generally known about as Muslims, yes? After he was around with his companions, certain deviant groups started to arrive, yeah? Now, the Salaf are known as the first three generations of Muslims. The companions, the Tabi'in, and the Atba Tabi'in. So the companions, a companion is someone that met the Prophet, believed in him, and died with the same belief as the Prophet. And then you had people that studied underneath them, the generation after that, known as the Tabi'in and the Atba Tabi'in. So anyway, what happened is that in the Prophet's time, there weren't that much deviants. Because if you come and teach something different from what the Quran says or the Prophet says, the Prophet would just say, you're a deviant, and that would be it, finished, done. But when after the Prophet died, people could come up here, and the Prophet wasn't around to say this person's a deviant.
You're talking about Abu Bakr and after that time.
So what happened? Different groups arrived that taught different that the Prophet believed and the companions believed. So one of these groups that came were the Khawarij.
Which is something that Shamsi mentioned last week, and I researched them a lot now. I've never heard of them. So I think Muslims need to kind of really explain who they are. Because when I started researching, things started to click into place about why some Muslims that seem so devout are doing things that are really un-Islamic, like committing suicide, which obviously, we know in Islam is a major sin. And so it's only when I started researching it, I was like, oh wow, all right. So all of these things that I had questions about, assuming it was Salafi, are actually a deviant group called the Khawarij, who seem very pious, but are actually the opposite. They just do the numbers and go around praying, but they don't have the compassion or the heart. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So basically what happened is that after the Prophet's time, there was different groups that tried to arise. And because they weren't taught by the Prophet or taught by their companions, they made up their own Islam, which was incorrect. For example, the Khawarij, basically they came up with this understanding that...
And ISIS are Khawarij?
Yeah, ISIS, Shabab, all these groups, they spring from Khawarij, yeah? What they basically say, so what happens is that they would teach different to Prophet. So they used to say that if any Muslim, does a major sin, whether it's drinking alcohol, gambling or whatever, he's a disbeliever. Yeah, and his blood is halal. So they would go around, and so they even took one of the companions, killed him, took his wife, hung her up on a tree.
Didn't one of them criticise Muhammad as well?
Can I finish?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. They started off with a man called Du Quasar, where the Prophet was giving out different charity and stuff to different people, and the man said, "Be just on Muhammad, give out the wealth and stuff fairly." And one of the companions said, "Let me deal with him," and the Prophet said, "No. Out of this man will come a group of people who will recite Quran, but they will not understand it." His name was Du Quasar. Throats. So basically, these people started arriving, and they started, teaching people that if a Muslim does a major sin, drink alcohol, gamble, anything that's a major sin in Islam, that his blood is halal and you can kill him. So they were named Khawarij. Now the reason why you have these, like I said, we generally call Muslims, but because different groups arrived, deviant away from the group of the way of Muhammad and the Quran and the companions, they use different terms. Sometimes they use Sunni like the scholars would come up with different terms. So they would say, call themselves, when there was two groups of Muslims, the companions or the people after them, who are studying Islam and following it the way the Prophet did, they would name them other names, that people that weren't with them or didn't study under the Prophet or the companions or people who were learned and making up their own Islam. They would sometimes name themselves to differentiate to the general layman who was alright and so forth. So these people got Khawarij. So all this term, whether it's Sunni, whether it's Salafi, whether it's Ahlul Sunnah or Ahlul Sunnah wa Jama'at,
What about Shia?
Shia are totally different things.
They're Muslims though.
Okay, yeah, they're Muslims. What we say is that about the Shia is that the lay Shiite that are just normal cultural Shiite, we don't say nothing about it. But as for the Shiites that believe that their imams or their scholars control, that control the weather, the sun, the moon, and stars, and all this kind of the elements and stuff. They're kuffar, the scholars.
I had a conversation with Blade Runner, and he was saying that they were infallible.
Okay, yeah.
Which I find a bit strange myself. So I was having a conversation about that. So I understand where you've got a bit of an issue with that.
But the point is this. Yeah. The point is this. Anyone that believes that a human being, whether it's the Prophet or an imam or a scholar, or whatever, he can control the weather. He can control. He can. How can I say? He controls the sun, the moon, the stars, the elements. You pray to him. You make dua to him. You know what I'm saying? Or you and so forth. Or you pray through him. This takes you against Islam.
Right.
So what the Sunni Salafi scholars say about the Shia imams, and the learned people, they're not Muslims. You know, the lay people, we don't say that they're Muslims. So forth. But the whole point is this: whether the term was Sunni, or it was Salafi, or it was Ahlul Sunnah, or Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'at, what it was to do is say that, look, there's this group of people like ISIS who talk about suicide bombing, killing people or whatever and so forth. It was to differentiate, between them and the learned Muslims.
So can I just say something that I've been researching Islam for quite a long time.
Yeah.
But I've never heard the word Khawarij until Shamsi spoke to me last week. And it's only when you type in the word Khawarij that it starts coming up. Why is it that Muslims don't generally, like when they're talking about terrorism, I'm talking about, even I've listened to Ali Dawa and Muhammad Hijab, I've never heard the word Khawarij. Maybe they've said it and it's just gone through my ear and gone out the brain. But it's not propagated as much as I think it should be. Because once I understood the word Khawarij and started looking at their actions and how they behave, I could start seeing who these people were.
People do it all the time. For example, 10 years ago, I did a program with a number of brothers talking about suicide bombing with we did it like a 5-part series, and we did it in detail. But the problem is this, we don't have access to the main media channels. As I was saying to you before, these talks are going. It's like people say, why don't Muslims speak about suicide bombing? Why don't they speak about 9/11? If I ask the average non-Muslim, when was the last time you went to a mosque? They say, I've never been to a mosque. So how are you going to know what we're saying in our masjids or mosques if you don't go there? For example, let me give you an example of how it's been deliberately, there's been deliberate miscommunication. You know who Anjem Chowdhury is, yeah?
I know.
Most people know Anjem Chowdhury from being on the news. He's an Asian guy, he's got a beard like me, he's got a hat like me, he dresses in Islamic clothing. He's part of a group called Al Muhajirin. For some reason, for the last 10 years, whenever something happened, 9/11, for example, he said that 9/11 was magnificent. He said, I believe that these people that did the things...
It was a magnificent 11 or something.
Magnificent 19.
9 or 19.
Yeah. He did this. ITV kept putting him on. After 7/7, he said the same thing.
And American channels as well. They used to do satellite things. I've seen loads on Fox News.
Yeah, so for the last 10 years, Anjem Chowdhury, BBC, ITV, Channel 4, all these different channels, they have always put this guy on TV. Whenever a bomb goes off, whenever there's a war, whenever there's something going on, ITV, BBC, all these channels, it's like they got him on speed dial. As soon as he comes up, as soon as something happens, they put him on. And then he says, the first thing he says when he gets on TV, I'm going to put Sharia to this country. We're going to force women to wear burqas. We're going to ban alcohol. Now, if I'm an English person, and my only interaction, especially white English people, a lot of especially white English people, they don't really mix with Muslims. They don't have a day-to-day with interaction with a practicing Muslim. Whether she wears hijab or whether he has a beard, he wears clothes. So the thing is this: if I'm a natural English person, a general English white person, no problem. And I never mix with Muslims. I go out, I'm a plasterer, I'm a plumber, I'm an IT consultant, I work in Sainsbury's or Tesco's, whatever. And I generally don't know a practicing Muslim. Yeah? I come home from thinking, after a long day's work, I sit down, I'm eating my meal or whatever, and I'm watching the news. A bearded guy comes on, he's got a beard, he's got a hat, he's got Islamic clothing. On every channel, when something happens, and he says, I'm going to put Sharia over this country, yeah? I'm going to force your wife to wear burqa. I'm going to ban alcohol. Obviously, you're going to get angry.
Can I just say...
Can I just, because it's very important. So we don't have access to these channels. So the question is why was he made our spokesman for the last 10 years? He didn't own his own mosque. He didn't even have his own mosque. He didn't even have enough.
I told you that he got chucked out of some mosque.
Yeah, yes, of course. He gets chased out. He tried to come to an area where me and brothers are, where we chased them off the street and their tables off the street. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say to you, physically, yeah. So what I'm trying to say to you is this: we don't control these big channels, yeah. Channel 5, TV, BBC 3, or BBC 1, whatever. So why did they choose him? They can't choose him because the mass of Muslims support him, because he didn't even have a masjid. So why was he our spokesman? He doesn't even speak Arabic. So he was, for some reason, Newsnight, ITV, they put him on. And all that's gonna happen, as long as you keep on as long as you keep on putting this guy on TV and saying, I'm going to force Sharia on your country, I'm going to force this, that, and so forth, of course you're going to get angry.
Yeah, I mean, it happened to me as well. I got quite extreme in my views because all I was seeing was propaganda. I worked self-employed. Also, as a Sikh, I want to say to people always ask, why are you asking about it? The way I dress and look, I'm mistaken for Muslim all the time. So when people say, what is it to do with you? It's got everything to do with me. The first person to be killed after 9/11 was a Sikh in America. And Sikhs get a brunt of a lot of this, the same way you get a lot of that kind of like people looking at you and judging you. I get the same thing. So although I'm not Muslim, I do get irritated. And this is why sometimes I've said some very harsh things, because I'm getting the brunt of it as well, or my people are. So you can understand why I sometimes might be quite harsh against these guys. But the Qur'an that you're talking about kind of explains a lot about who they are.
What I want to basically round up very quickly, because these guys go and do their thing, is this. First of all, the call of the Prophet wasn't calling to Islamic State. It was calling to people not to worship men, not to worship prophets, not to worship idols, not to worship good luck charm, not to believe in zodiac signs. This was the main call of the Prophet's dawah, calling to Tawheed. And it's 3 categories, yeah? Most of these people, you hear them calling to Tawheed, Hakamiyya, and bringing Sharia. This is not the dawah of the Prophets. Secondly, a Salafi, Sunni, Ahl-Sunnah person is just someone that tries to follow Orthodox Islam. And to round up very quickly, the reason why they put Anjem Chowdhury, and now they've changed it to this guy, the reason why they put him now on LBC and stuff, and he's a liberal, like he goes to the strip club and all this kind of stuff.
One extreme to the next.
Yeah, they put another extreme on. The reason why they all actually practicing Salafi or Sunni brother or brother on TV is because yes, they know we can refute terrorism from the Quran and Sunnah, but there's a lot of things they teach in England, like interests, which our religion is against, homosexuality, transgenderism, and so forth. So they know that if we come on TV, we're going to say, for example, in this country, and to properly round up now, to make it in this country, the definition of making it is getting a big house with the driveway, with the big garden and so forth. The only way you're going to get in this country now is through mortgage. Even if you have a degree now, you're most likely not going to get it, so you have to get a mortgage with interest. Interest is a huge sin in our religion. And the whole thing about like women wearing hijab and this, that, they don't like it. So the thing is that they're not going to put on practicing Sunni or Salafi on the thing, because the whole thing, we say this lifestyle of just drinking, getting high every weekend, sleeping around with strangers, you know what I'm saying?
It's not sensationalist enough for them.
No, they like that we can refute terrorism and call into Islamic State, but they don't like that we're saying, listen, what you're teaching to people, to young men in this society, that you're nothing good unless you have material things and you have the latest clothes and Gucci and Versace. Yeah, they know we're going to talk down against that. If you're getting a woman naked to sell BMW or to sell biscuits or special K, they know our religion.
I agree with you on this conservative.
No, but what I'm trying to say is that they know we can refute terrorism, but they won't put us on Sunni or Salafi people on the TV media, because they know, along with refuting terrorism from the Quran and Sunnah, we're also going to say teaching people that a man is just a man, judging by how many material things he has, and the more a man you are, it's not going to work because it's going to lead people to crime and and you know.
Money is not everything.
Yeah, so that's why they won't put us there. Either put someone who's a Khawarij, just killing everything and doesn't even give dawah, or someone who says yes, everything's right, transgenders is right, yeah, sleeping with animals is right, getting drunk every week is right. They won't put us on there because we take the middle course. That's it.
Can I just say something? I'm going to be away for 2-3 weeks, so I'm off to sunny LA. I'm not scared off, even though I was threatened today quite a few times. I'm coming back again. And the thing is that I'm going to have a relaxation, come back, we'll have some good conversations afterwards.
So there's nothing wrong with a Sunni or Salafi Muslim,
no,
it's just an orthodox
it's a
Muslim.
Khawarij.
I consider myself Salafi, I'm not perfect, but you don't...
Am I allowed to use the word Khawarij?
Yeah, you can use it.
Right,
I would
I
just
like
say to
using
you,
that word.
I said, don't judge Islam by me or any other brother in the park. Judge it by the Quran, the Sunnah, and the Salaf, the first 3 generations, and see if what we do is in line with them.
I'll be back in 3 weeks.
Okay, no problem. Take care.
We'll have a chat, man.
Thank you guys for your time, because I know you're busy, man. Thank you, yeah?
Appreciate you as well.
Thank you, yeah? Tell CJ wherever he is.
In it, alright? He's done a run off. He's telling me to do the
Don't worry, but you was there from the beginning. I'll vouch for you that from the beginning, that for when you make it, you got your private jet. That you was the mate. Because a lot of new faces will pop up, but I'll say Leo was the only consistent one there.